filing into the chat because we have a lot to talk about tonight. I don't want to jump to conclusions on what they're releasing, even though the evidence looks like we will be getting a point guard version of Giannis, who has, I believe he played point guard fairly briefly early on in his career. He is the primary ball handler, but he's slotted at the power forward position most of the time in Milwaukee. Sometimes he plays five. Now, we all know that Giannis is still, at this point, arguably the best card in the game. Maybe even the Spotlight could still be considered one of the top cards in the game, because defensively that card is as good as any other Giannis, right? It's really just a matter of how well does Giannis shoot. But this isn't so much about Giannis as it is the entirety of the game mode and what this really means, right? So if Giannis, listen, bottom line is, if Giannis drops tomorrow and he is as good as any of the current Giannis's, except for the Diamond Giannis's or like the Heat Check or something, if he's at that level, then we may have a serious balancing problem in my team. And using the word balance in my team is a little ridiculous. We can all admit that, right? It's not a very balanced mode when it comes to MyTeam Unlimited. But this stretches the balance like really far. So right now, if you look at the top point guards in the game, most of them are still playable. And it's really because of range extender, right? Range extender allows you to play a different style than what particularly Magic and Ben Simmons allow you to play. So if you're playing out there with Russ or Curry or Derrick Rose, I don't think you're at a legitimate disadvantage. I think the only point guard that puts you at a full-on disadvantage, if used to their maximum effect, is LeBron James. Most people, 99.9%, do not use LeBron to maximum effect. So that's not really an issue. Although LeBron is still a problem, a big matchup problem, even played sub-optimally. But Giannis is so easy, a caveman can do it. Right? Like, he has the strongest hop step animation in the entirety of the game. He's the fastest character in the whole game at the size that he's at. His arms are crazy long. His dimensions are absolutely silly. So putting him at the point guard position might make it so that you straight up can't play a 6'3 guard. We don't know if that'll be true, but that's what everybody's afraid of, right? So take a glance at my team real quick, see what we're doing. So the question I have about, so does he kill unlimited? So the interesting thing about this is Triple Threat Online is really fun and it's really rewarding. So people who are saying that he would kill my team, no, he would just kill MyTeam Unlimited, which a lot of people already don't love as a mode, right? Like, there are a lot of issues with MyTeam Unlimited, like people with timeouts and you know, pulling the cord and you getting a loss and stuff like that. The fact that 12-0 is the only thing to do in the mode, there's no other way to play MyTeam Unlimited. So if Giannis does all of the things that everybody is totally afraid of, and he totally kills any point guard not named LeBron James, possibly Magic and Ben Simmons, if he forces you to play with those characters and all of the rest of the point guards in the entire game are worthless, then it's really just for MyTeam Unlimited, right? Because Triple Threat Online, you can play whoever you want as long as they can hit a 3 and they have clamps. So I think it's the panic is understandable, but I don't think that that's why people are really panicking. And I would love to get you guys' feedback on this. I think the real reason that people are panicking about this is because of position locks. So in the beginning of the year, you know, position locks are announced and there's mixed results. Some people say, hey, this is going to be a problem down the road when cards like this get released. And some people are like, I'm glad not to, you know, have my point guards be obsolete basically from day one, right? Because as soon as you start releasing tall point guards that can do everything, you're not going to be playing your Steve Nash's and your John Stocktons anymore. That's just the way 2K is built. It's not like in real life where a guy like Kemba Walker is totally, you know, unguardable by a guy who's like really tall and stuff like that. Like, they're even a good defender at a taller height, like say you know, like say like a Robert Covington or something like that. Like if there was a point guard Robert Covington in real life, Robert Covington is still gonna struggle to defend Steph Curry. You know what I mean? Like it's not like in 2K where his size is just an advantage with no disadvantage, and it's because small characters in this game don't move super great, right? So there is that. But I think the real reason that people are panicking, and if you look online, you look in 2K Gamer, there's a lot of panic right now. A lot of people are upset, and I think it comes down to one thing. When you announce position locks, that can be interpreted, and if we're being charitable to 2K, should be interpreted as you saying, we want to make a more balanced game, which we're all on board for, right? A more balanced game? Sign me up. So here are the Galaxy Opal point guards that Giannis would make completely obsolete possibly make obsolete if he comes out. So if you say position locks are a thing, then the kind of deal, the compromise, the handshake compromise there is okay. So since players are going to be locked to their specific positions, there's going to be a certain amount of enforced balance in the game. Cool. But then what it turns out, if you release all these, look at LeBron ending under 300K already. What it turns out to be is position locks are for the community, not for 2K. And that's the dark side of it, is it's position locks until we say so. All we have to do is say a card is glitched, and we can put him in whatever position we want him to be in. And this allows us to drastically shift the market at any time during the year without having to answer for it in any way, right? Like without a community manager, there's nobody that we can, this isn't Overwatch. You can't say, hey, this is overpowered, can you fix it, because it makes the game less fun, right? The game's not fun when May's the most powerful character in the game. Can you please do something about May? Then Jeff shows up and he's like, I got you, our bad, we'll do a better job. Here's a pink diamond Rondo who should be fantastic. He's going for 25K. I mean, that's crazy. So in this game, even though Robbie Two Brothers Gaming claims that he has all this fantastic communication, we know that there are certain things that we don't get answers about in the community, right? The token market is one thing. There's a whole video about that. Not going to kill that point and beat that to death. We want better communication for that. It's an entire in-game currency. But here, this is another thing. Position lock. It is a totally valid question for the community to say, hey, we think this totally resets your stance on position locks. When you sold us on position locks, you're saying to us, position locks are so that everybody can have a certain amount of balance, everybody has a certain amount of value. Because if you go through NBA history, even Giannis, when Giannis did play the point guard position, he was a much worse player than he is. So if they release a pink diamond version of Giannis, that's not in any way reflective of Giannis when he played point guard. Giannis, when he played point guard, had a very, very limited skill set. Strength much lower, way worse shooter than he is now, way worse post-up player than he is now. Literally just worse at everything, right? So if they released basically Amethyst Giannis, but he's at the point guard, that's not that big of a deal. It's the fact that they're releasing a juiced version of Giannis at the point guard. That's what would make everybody really upset. All right? If you give this guy a 80-something 3-ball, perfect defense, super juiced speed stats and everything, at 6'11", with the crazy long arms at the point guard position, everybody's going to be throwing their MT and VC at those packs until they get Giannis, and enough people are going to get Giannis that when you go onto MyTeam Unlimited, if you don't have Giannis, this guy's just going to be hop-stepping you into oblivion. I'd like to welcome everybody to the chat. Osvaldo, El Rio, Slam U, what's up, y'all? And that is a valid concern, and if there was a community manager, you'd be able to say, hey man, what's up with this? This doesn't seem in line with the entire concept of position locks, which up until, I would say, glitched J.R. Smith? Up until glitched J.R. Smith was pretty faithful to it, for the most part, right? J.R. Smith, to my knowledge, never played point guard, and he would be horrible if he did play point guard, right? Like if you release J.R. Smith at point guard, I want to see a 40 passer rating and accuracy, right? I want him throwing the ball out of bounds and getting picked all the time because J.R. don't even have a handle like that. So Brandon Bowles asked, what's Westbrook doing against the Clippers? Last I checked, Westbrook was doing fine against the Clippers. It was Harden and everybody else who was really struggling because they were 2 of 22 from the three-point line. So if you are trying to blame that on Westbrook, who last I saw was something like 6 for 13 or 6 for 14, something like that, that would expose you as a Westbrook hater, because anybody watching that game could clearly tell it's a matter of first of all, the Clippers being much deeper than the Rockets. Marcus Morris proven to be a great acquisition, and the Rockets not hitting any shots. A lot of those shots they're missing are open. Because you're not watching the game? Fair enough. So that's what's happening. Westbrook is fine, but the Rockets aren't hitting any shots. Eric Gordon has to get healthy for that team to do what they need to do. So, I mean, look at this. Pink Diamond Steve Nash. Perfect jump shooter, excellent ball handler, excellent passing stats, and he's even juiced with Hall of Fame clamps, going for less than 20K. Gilbert Arenas on buyout. Wants a fantastic card. The market is already deciding this card is going to be practically useless with Giannis coming out. You know, Westbrook, one of the best cards in the game, same thing. So, yeah, Harden's 4 for 14. Harden hasn't been that great most of this year. Harden's been off for most of this year. All these people selling this LeBron, it's interesting because on the one hand, I understand the thinking is like, oh, I'm going to sell LeBron so I can get Giannis. On the other hand, it's like, if you have LeBron, you probably have one of the few cards that can slow down Giannis. So I don't know why you would do that. I don't know. Every other card you want to sell is more important than selling LeBron if you have the LeBron. But what do I know? So yeah. So are they saying they're coming out with Giannis at point guard? Yeah, they released a trailer, if you guys haven't seen it, and the trailer shows Giannis doing the point guard catch animation. So everyone's assuming that this means Giannis is at point guard, in particular because there's no other reason to release a Giannis card, really. Right? He already has a 80-something 3-ball in the version that he has. So until he gets range extender, the only other thing you can really do to Giannis is put him at the point guard position. And he's doing the point guard animation. Now, if he doesn't come out at point guard, then it's no big deal. So, like, even LeBron, if you guys don't know, LeBron at point guard, even though he's a super amazing, despite the fact that he has a 98 stamina, he does not play like he has a 98 stamina. This card gets gets tired really, really quickly. So even though this is a fantastic card, he's almost like a super move in a fighting game. You have to pull him out and use him and get the most out of him, and then you got to sit him down, which I actually like as a balancing tool. But the dishonest thing about this LeBron card, and I know my team is not a thing of honesty, is this 95 speed. LeBron James, when he was younger, was a 95 speed. So there's 2 LeBron James point guards. There's basically rookie LeBron James, and then there's today. The rest of his entire career was as small forward. He never, at his maximum shooting and like athleticism, played point guard. When he was weaker, and I mean he was always relatively strong, but not as strong as he is now or was in Miami. When he was weaker and he played the point guard in Cleveland, you could put that LeBron James at point guard, or you can put the older, much slower, much less athletic, which he is on all fronts. If you watched young LeBron, you know that to be true. You can put that LeBron at point guard. But to put this juiced version of LeBron at the point guard, that's what's specific. Even though this kind of balancing is not typical of my team, to go into my team and say, "What's up, Dave Bogdansky? I'm getting your name right, bro. With practice, you keep showing up. I keep getting opportunities to pronounce your name properly." Wally Warrior's in the house. What's up? What's up? Michael P, I see you. So, putting LeBron James at point guard in and of itself does not break the promise of position locks in my team, right? It's putting the juiced version of LeBron James at point guard that breaks the promise of position locks. There is no LeBron James at 95 speed with gold range extender that plays point guard. So, I mean, and I know they break rules all over the place, and you know this character Bill Russell has a 93 3-ball or whatever, right? That's what I always say is when we talk about balance in my team, I'm like, Bill Russell has a 93 3-pointer, and my expression amongst my friends is you chose to play 2K. Whenever somebody complains about some 2K thing happening, I'm like, hey, you chose to play 2K, man. Right? Like, that's what you chose to do. This is the game you chose to play. You could have chosen Rainbow Six Siege or The Division or Destiny or Overwatch or Mortal Kombat or something. You could have chose all these great competitive games, and you chose this one. So you chose to suffer. And that's a deal that all 2K players have made. So when you're in the park and somebody's completely beat on a fast break and they teleport up onto your back and block your shot because that ridiculous badge kicked in and just gave them that perfect animation when they should not have been in that play, don't get mad. Don't close app. Don't go online. Just say to yourself, like George Costanza, or like Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys, how he says "woosah." And George Costanza's like Serenity Now. You say to yourself, I chose to play 2K. Now right here, normally I would say, hey, they're releasing Giannis at point guard. You chose to play 2K. However, 2K said position locks. Now when they said position locks, you assume that just means position locks in the game. But if you start putting Giannis, juiced Giannis specifically, at point guard, what you actually meant was position locks for you guys. You can't put whatever players you want in any position. We, as 2K, can put anybody anywhere, however we want to, no matter what the reasoning is. And so the real cynicism comes out, and I don't even know if cynicism is a fair thing to call it, when people say, you're only doing this to make money. You know that this balance, that if you break the balance of a game, like imagine, again, I'll go to the Overwatch example, right? If Overwatch is going all well and everything, and they just decide, you know what? I'm going to make Soldier, a guy with an auto rifle, into a one-shot kill. So every one of Soldier's 24 bullets that he shoots is a kill. That would make him really unbalanced. But imagine if you actually were selling that, right? So it'd be one thing if you just break the balance of the game and you do a bad balance update and Soldier's overpowered. It's another thing to say, hey, if you want this overpowered Soldier, he's in the loot boxes somewhere. So just keep buying loot boxes until you get Soldier. Then the community will go, hey, you're not terrible at balance. You're fine with balance. You're intentionally breaking the balance to get money out of people, because people know that they have to do that to compete. And because MyTeam Unlimited, an extremely sweaty mode, is the only way to play 5v5 in this game, that's your only option. Even Overwatch has quick play, where it's just like, let's just go in and screw around and have a fun night, like a Call of Duty thing. We're just going to go shoot each other, and if we win, we win, we lose, but it's whatever. My team doesn't have that. There's one way to play My Team multiplayer with 5 people, and it's the sweaty mode where either you go 12-0 and there's a whole bunch of nonsense rewards, and this would be a good reward if it wasn't for the fact that A, 4,000 coins doesn't get you much, B, we don't know what the tokens are, and C, chances are nothing's going to pop out of that deluxe pack, right? And also it would be a good reward, making it worthy to play the mode. It would make the mode theoretically less sweaty if you got all of this stuff, right? So if you go to 9 wins, you get this and this and this and this and this. My man Brian Mazik wrote an article about that. But the way this mode is set up, everybody's trying to get to this point in the mode so that they get this and James Worthy, right? So that means that everybody's always going, not everybody, but most people are always going to be playing their most broken cards, unless they're either A, overall cheesing, or B, playing a low overall squad because they're tired of playing everybody and their Galaxy Opals and so on and so forth. Right? So Bogdansky says pack odds are so horrible, I don't even want to buy VC. Yeah, I mean, I listen, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I would never buy VC and open packs. That's ridiculous. In fact, there's no reason to buy VC in this game unless you are opening packs, because even in my career, after a brief 25, I don't even know if it's 25 games, like after 15 games of that game mode, you can upgrade enough badges and ratings that you can do all of the online methods to upgrade your character. And no matter what you put into your character, the character will start paying for their own VC eventually. So this is the only reason to buy VC in the game. And with that being the case, with this being the only real reason to buy VC in the game, because everything is either cosmetics or just your impatience with building up a character, right? So, because I have a character in this. In fact, the reason I made this entire account was I just wanted to see what it was like to build up a character with no VC. So I didn't even think about putting like, redeem cards or anything like that. And this is the character I made. I made this character 0 VC. He's a 97 overall, completely just grinded my career in my spare time. And you can see, the character is like 100% juiced, and he is what he is. So it didn't take anything. But point being is, if people accuse 2K and they say, hey, the only reason you're putting Giannis at point guard, you're not trying to make the game more fun. You're not trying to make the game more interesting. You're not trying to make the game more balanced. You're only trying to get people to buy more packs. Now, I'm not even saying I 100% agree with that. I think, there's reason to believe. I didn't realize I was still in the game. I didn't think that there was reason. I think there's reason to believe that, but I also leave room for there to be like other reasons that they did this. You know what I mean? It could be several things could be attached to that, right? Now, but again, I think the community has every right, both logically and emotionally, to feel that way. So the problem is they don't have anybody that you can say that to that's going to give you a straight answer, right? Like Robbie, Two Brothers Gaming, is going to give you a company man answer. I mean, and this is not even offense to him. He works for the company. That's his job. His job is to do as he's told. He can't say anything out of pocket. He cannot be honest with you without getting fired. So even though he was extremely defensive with me on Twitter, I don't take that personally, because I know he's receiving toxicity all day, every day. He's getting harassed about the token market and so on and so forth. Even though I do know several developers, I don't know Robbie. I've never spoken to Robbie outside of, a like here or there on Twitter. So for him to get defensive and blah, 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 against me, it is what it is. My whole goal, if you guys saw my video on the token market, my thing is about better communication. So I'm not going to get baited into emotionalism. Not to say that Robbie's intentionally trying to bait me, but I'm saying I'm not going to let his overreaction make me irrational. My goal is better communication. My request for the community is that they understand the changes made to this game mode, both from the token reward market to the token rewards, the token market, and in this case, cards that clearly, drastically change the balance of the game. I want the community to have better communication on that front, right? That's my goal. I'm not going to waver from that goal just because, he just pushed me. That's crazy. I'm not going to waver from that goal just because you had a bad Twitter reaction, which in my view, it was a bad Twitter reaction, 100%. But it is what it is. I'm not mad about it. It's like, for those of you who don't know, I basically said, I asked him a question and he said it's on the radar. So I don't know what it was referring to. If he was saying the token update is on the radar or if better communication was on the radar. So I asked him, I was just like, what's on the radar, the token update or communication? Because as you guys saw in my video, I don't really care what the token update is. I think the token update, it could be trash, and that's still better than not knowing, right? The community is not entitled to a good token update. They could release a whole bunch of Ruby Isaiah Thomas cards for all I care. As long as you can flip those cards for 600 MT a piece or whatever, then hey, okay, that's what your tokens are worth. Now you know what they're worth, so you can stop locking in silver cards and completed sets and all that stuff for no reason. That's my thing, is people doing things for a token market on the faith that they'll expect 2K to do something. And so that was my response was, are you referring to the look at your boy green and free throws while I'm talking to the chat. Watch me miss this one. No, baby. Are you referring to the token update or are you referring to better communication? And he says, I refuse to argue about whether or not I communicate. I mean, that's a straw man argument. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get upset about it. It is what it is. I understand why he came at it from that angle, but that's clearly incorrect based on my statements. I never said he didn't communicate. In fact, specifically in the tweet, I said improve communication, which is a clear Like logically, that means that communication has to exist in order for it to improve, right? I can't improve my car because I'm in New York City. I don't own a car, right? So if I say I'm going to improve my car, that's a nonsensical statement because my car doesn't exist. So, but that is what it is, man. Like I'm not, who cares, right? Like, okay, you had an emotional moment. We can move past that. My whole thing is better communication, and this Giannis update is another reason that we need better communication. Because the thing that struck me about it, fellas, is, and ladies, if there are any ladies who are watching it, but I know 99.9% of the people watching this are men. Everybody, this is what gets me, right? Normally, when an update comes into any game, there's either A, everybody's excited, or B, some people are excited and some people are irritated based on their position in the game. So, that's what you expect. But in 2K, they released this Giannis card, with this trailer of the Giannis card, and literally everybody on 2K Gamer and everybody on Twitter that I saw a response from, 100% of them had the same exact reaction. This is going to break the game. You're only doing this to get people to spend money on packs. Rip my team. MyTeam Unlimited is going to be so toxic. 2K is officially AIDS. Why are you doing this at this point in the year? That was everybody's response. And that's the thing that concerns me. Listen, guys, I'm too busy to be playing MyTeam Unlimited all day right now. Like I said to you guys, I have enough time to get the cards, produce content, and evo some cards. That's it. I literally don't have time to do most of the stuff I want to do in this game just because I'm busy with work. It just is what it is. It's just the reality of my situation. So the status of MyTeam Unlimited doesn't personally affect me at all. But my concern is the communication for this community. The communication with it. The fact that I don't think it's in a healthy place. I don't think this community is going to grow and become what it should be if 2K can ruin the balance of their game and have no accountability whatsoever. I just don't think that's a healthy place for the game. No other serious game does that. You guys saw there was that big tournament where he's driving to the basket and the character does a layup instead of doing a dunk, even though he's clearly holding turbo and has an open lane to the basket. That's embarrassing, and that's not good for like your competitive community. You know what I'm saying? Like that's bad, and I want the 2K competitive community in a good place. I don't want them in a bad place. So I want to see stuff like that change. And the number one thing that has to change about that stuff is you need a community manager there where we can say, hey, we don't like this. What's 2K's stance on this? Because just because the community asks for something doesn't mean they're right. They're not right about the fact that it needs to be changed, or if change is necessary, what the change needs to be. So you need that. That's why you need a dialogue. You don't just need random community members crying about stuff, because then the most popular vocal community members get their changes, which aren't always good for the game. In fact, they're often not good for the game. So you need a community manager to filter this information out and have a back and forth with the community so that we understand, this is what 2K is feeling about the situation. This is what we're experiencing, and here's the disconnect, right? So in this situation with Giannis, it's funny because I just made this video on unity amongst the 2K community. They're all 100% on the same page. Like literally everybody said the same thing. There was not one tweet I saw was like, "Oh man, I can't wait to play this card. This is gonna be so fun. This is so cool. I've been waiting for PG Giannis all year." Not one tweet said that. Not one post on 2K Gamer was like, "I don't know what you guys are talking about. This Giannis card is gonna be dope. You guys complain about everything." Literally not one person. Now maybe as time has passed, those people will be coming out of the woodwork saying their crazy opinions, but up until I pressed, broadcast on this video, 100% of the community was on the same page. This is broken. You're only doing this to get people to rip packs. MyTeam Unlimited was barely playable, and now it's going to be unplayable. Why are you doing this so early in the year? And my concern with that is if the entire community is unhappy with something in the game, it's probably not good for the game. If the entire community is unhappy with it, especially at this point in the game. At least early in the year, you can have the argument, well, look, the community doesn't like change. Whenever we change something about the game, everybody's going to complain. You got to play the game to see what it feels like. That's totally valid. At this point in the year, when most of the vocal audience understands your game pretty well, if they're all from the hardcore to the casual to the in between, if they're all 100% just like, nah, and you're just like, aren't you hyped for this? And we're gonna see Ronnie 2K on caffeine or whatever, like unlocking packs and selling, giving away Giannis to people. Does any, and this is a genuine question for the chat. Y'all watching the chat right now? This is a genuine question. Or if you watch this video later, did anybody want that? Does anybody want to see, Ronnie ripping packs on? Like, do you wake up in the morning and go, I'm so glad I have 2K because tomorrow I'm excited to watch Ronnie rip packs and give away this Giannis card to everybody? Is that your reaction to it? Is that how you feel about it? Like, is that what you want? Was anybody in this chat happy about seeing that Giannis, like happy about seeing PG Giannis, particularly at this point in the year when there's so much 2K to be played? Like, there's so much 2K to be played. And we've gotten a lot of endgame cards already. That's no question. Like that is what it is. Yeah, RCA the Great's fantastic. Shout out to him. But yeah, like did anybody you don't like Brandon Bolt. So let me see. Weird Dying Breed. All these streams gotten Opal worthy, have cheesed or had friends, blah blah blah. That's for kids. You like using a whole team because if you go against all Opal teams, you can't cheese in Unlimited. Lack of communications, 2K's Achilles heel. The problem is, David Bogdansky says, the problem is you need these cards to compete. We all knew it would get to this. That's why my team gets old around this time. Yeah, I mean, in my view, we're still like basically barely after Christmas. There's still Christmas noobs in the park, right? I mean, you see them all the time. Like, park is generally so easy to win in right now. Because a lot of people in the park are still like relatively new to the game, and but again, those aren't the people who are part of the vocal community online. The vocal community online is people who already have Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant and saving up their MT for this, that, and the other. These are all people, and you can tell by their comments, right? It's like the way they're speaking about it. It's not like they're saying nonsensical things, nonsensical reasons. It's all the same reasons. It's all the same general understanding about the game. I hate the fact that they can contest you from behind like that. Like, even though, I'm running a nonsense play because I'm talking to you guys and I'm just trying to get this my career game done. Like, still, the solution is not you just press me all the way up court and don't let me move. I hate that about this game. The fact that they can just stop whatever you're doing. I see they're on switch. That's funny. We're just going to go past you with the behind the back. Easy peasy. So, yeah, I don't know. This is why we need a community manager. This is why I want better communication amongst the community. And I wanted to get a feel for how you guys felt about it. And my main question for you guys is, do you feel like 2K has broken its promise of position locks? Like, I realize on the surface position locks are not literally a promise, but they're basically, it's basically a promise, right? Like, it's basically, hey, positions are locked this year so that we don't have players playing out of position, so that we have more of a balance. And then they come out and put any card wherever they want. Do you feel like that changes the definition of position locks? That it moves position locks from, well, it's position locks for you, not for us. If we say J.R. Smith played point guard, he played point guard. If we say prime Giannis Antetokounmpo plays point guard, then he plays point guard. You know what I mean? Like, if we say, prime 28-year-old LeBron James plays point guard, then he does. End of discussion. That just is what it is. Like, how do you guys feel about that? Too little. Too little. That's why I need to rock the baby animation when I get Rubio down low in my Westbrook build. Michael P says, yeah, I fell for the position lock trickery. Well, here's the thing, man. I feel like earlier in the year, the one card that I talk about a lot is Bruce Bowen, right? I think Bruce Bowen is a shining example of where balance goes wrong in my team, and I'll tell you why. At this point in the year, if you have a 3-and-D card that can't dribble and create his own shot, you are playing at a disadvantage. But earlier in the year, Bruce Bowen was a fantastic card to get. It was like, oh man, he's going to hit all of his open threes, especially from the corner, and he's going to lock down the other team's best offensive player. So instead of having that card, I can just counter that card, which is how good games work. Now it's, no, every single one of my cards has to be overpowered or I'm going to lose, right? Like that's not how good games work. Now, I question if my team can, do you guys think my team can survive without being that way? You know, like, does my team have to be that overpowered kind of thing? And this is another flaw in 2K. Bam Adebayo gets Kyle Lowry in the post and he literally can't do anything. That's crazy. Like, normally I wouldn't even give him that. I would just, you know, do something else. But they're switching on the screening rolls because they don't want me to burn them. And Bam Adebayo just got stonewalled by Kyle Lowry like nothing. Michael P says, yep, I felt crazy after finally evoing Bruce Bowen. See, that's the thing. Like, I felt like that was a really, really healthy place for the game to be in. And even now, there are still some cards that are like, well, this is a primary card. This is a secondary card, right? Like, Anthony Davis is still more of a secondary card than he is a, wrong button, than he is a primary card. But that's it. There's no more tertiary cards. There's no more what we call in, like, say, Overwatch, a support role, right? There's no more support roles in this game. It's basically tanks and DPS, and that's it. It's attackers and defenders, and nothing in between. There's not like, oh, I have this card because he's the best rebounder in the game. You're a crazy person if you have a card like that, right? I have this card because he plays excellent defense. No, that's insane. You would be like insane if you picked a card because they played great defense. You need a card that does everything. And that's not a healthy place for any competitive game to be in, specifically because it ruins the style of the game. And which brings us back to the position locks issue. What's up, SPAC? You said you mad late, but we still here, baby. We still going. Mr. Game Winner, shout out to you. Oh, see, I looked at the chat and I let Kyle Lowry score. That is an L. So let me just get my play set up here. Quick through STS works in every game mode in every way. It's crazy. So with this Giannis thing, it's like Giannis is going to force my team into this, literally into one kind of game. One kind of game. It's going to be gigantic point guard, turboing to the basket, and everybody else just hitting threes. And the other thing that will probably be more prominent is as more Bam Adebayos, aka speed boosting centers, come out, it'll be more of like, okay, well, I'm going to get a one-on-one matchup with your center, and we'll see, you know, we'll see what happens from there. But now you're going to be able to switch. So switch everything. There's not going to be any penalty to switching everything anymore. That's going to be just like the way you play is switch everything. Not at all. It'd be so much better if they gave everyone one card and rating true to life, but that's just me. Bruce Bowen gets blah, blah, blah. Gets put in the game. Cool. He's 81 overall, not in 97. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's how I felt about my team before I started playing it, right? Like, before I started actually playing this mode and saw the sad reality. And it is a sad reality, right? Like, it is a sad reality the way the mode is designed, that you're going to get a 98 overall Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is not a 98 overall person. Why is he getting a 98 overall card? But the mode is so far gone past that, I feel like that's a spitting into the wind argument that's not going to go anywhere. So what I can say is, okay, well, within this augmented reality, right, where you say, I'm going to create an entire permanent card based off of this guy's best day of his life, right? He's going to get a permanent card. There's still some things I can say, all right, well, what can we do to balance that? You know? Can we say, oh, that a dunk? Yes, sir. What can we do to balance that? Can we say, okay, well, how about keeping the tall cards from being a 99 speed? Can we do that? How about if somebody's never ever been a great shooter, you don't just give them range extender. Like, okay, you can let them hit an open three, but save range extender for the shooters. And the problem is, as they say in boxing, styles make fights. And when you take away the styles, you take away the dynamics of the game mode. Everyone's going to be doing what people hate in every other game. Every competitive game, people absolutely hate this, and it's called mirror matching, right? Isn't that the worst thing when... Here's the beautiful thing. You say, this is my style of play. I take these cards, I take these abilities, I take this playbook, and I say, this is the way I approach the game. Nobody has my unique style. The worst thing in the world is, this is the only good character in the game, so everybody's going to play that character. So every game is just Scorpion versus Scorpion, because Scorpion's broken. Every game is just Ken versus Ken, because Ken's broken. Every Overwatch match has Mei and Diva and Reinhardt, because those characters are too OP, everybody else sucks. Other game companies, when that happens, they change the balance, because that's not as fun. It's not as fun to watch. It's not as fun to play. But 2K, because now, again, I don't know this for a fact, because this game mode is monetized, we believe that it's like, well, we don't care how much fun you're having. We don't care what styles you're putting, you're able to express yourself with. We need money from you guys. So Galaxy Opal or Pink Diamond point guard Giannis with a 95 speed, 85 three-pointer, just so we could save it for the Galaxy Opal when he gets range extender. Like, that feels bad, man. Like, that sucks. Again, I don't know if that's true. There's no way for us to know if that's true, because they don't have a community manager, so there's nobody to ask. If I ask Robbie, he's going to, apparently, according to what's already happened, he's either going to say nothing, he's going to give a company man answer, or he's going to get extraordinarily passive-aggressive. While that's disappointing, like, I'm not going to lie, like, that's too bad, because what I hope... Can I kill him? Yeah! What I hope is that if you're reasonable with someone, they either say, hey, I can't speak on that, which is totally fair. You guys see, I'm extremely forgiving of someone working for the company that can't just tell you whatever you want, that can't be honest with you. But as a lot of, and this is other people, this is not even me saying this, people are tired of the defensiveness of the 2K developers. Some of the 2K devs I'm either cool with, or they're legitimately my friends, right? So I'm not eager to be like, oh yeah, the 2K developers are this and that. But the reason people have that perspective is two things. One, unlike every other video game, the 2K developers have no buffer between them and the community, which is not fair to the developers, because that means they have to do their job and the job of a community manager. That's not fair. They're not equipped to do that. In fact, any community manager, if their job title was community manager and they also had to make a AAA game for 12 to 14 hours a day, 5 to 7 days a week, they would also be really bad at community management, right? Like, a community manager has to be somebody whose job it is to manage the community and nothing else. Their job is to read tweets and develop both a relationship and a, I don't want to say tolerance, a thick skin, a comfortable, familiarity with the community. So when the community gets out of hand, they're just like, look, man, I know you guys don't like this and you're emotional about this, and so on and so forth. But A, we're not going to accept, I'm not going to respond to toxicity. And B, I am going to listen to your complaints. That's what I'm here for. I'm not going to sit here and not listen to you, but I'm not going to respond to you. You're not going to have a relationship with the community developer if you're going to be toxic. It's that simple. So if you don't like something about the game, look, we're humans. We make mistakes. It is what it is. Let us know what mistakes we'll make, and we promise to do our best to make the best game possible. That's what a community manager does. That's not what a dev does. You know what I'm saying? Devs are not equipped to do that. Literally not equipped. They have an entire other job to do. So if a dev is sensitive, you know what I'm saying? If a developer is sensitive, it's for good reason. First of all, developers get the worst of it. Like, people, I was just having this conversation the other day. This guy was like, I'm calling out Dazar because he works on the game. It says developer in his profile, and that means he's to blame. My guy, could you, if you tried to say something stupider than that, I think you might fail. You know what I'm saying? In his and so he responded and says, so I asked him, I said, okay, just give me a detailed description of the Czar's job so that when we start calling him out, we know what we're calling him out for. And he puts up a Wikipedia tweet of what developers do. And it's this long list of like debugging and this version of quality control and coding and designing. And he's like, see, he's a dev. And I'm like, dude, there's like 12 job descriptions for a dev. So you're going to sit here and blame a designer for something a debugger has failed on? That's why developers get fed up. If you're a debugger in the game, but it's known that you're a 2K dev, somebody at some point is going to come at you like, why is this thing that's not in your department, might not even be in your building. It's not even on your floor. You know what I'm saying? Because so of course you're gonna get fed up if you get that once, you can handle it. Twice, you can handle it. There's a point in the year where that's their entire Twitter feed. They go online and be like, yeah, I think the Warriors might still be all right this year. And somebody's be like, they ain't gonna be all right as long as you keep allowing the CPU to cheese me. And this doesn't even have to do with that person. So listen, of course the developers are going to be sensitive. And I put Robbie in that too. Look, Robbie could be rude to me. He could be sensitive with me and so on and so forth. I'm an adult. I'm a grown up. I've worked for so many big, you guys can look me up, Nelson Blake II. I've worked for so many big entertainment companies that it's like, I've seen all of this already. I've seen the frustrations. I've seen the sensitivities. I've seen the mistakes. I've seen the miscues. I've seen the miscalls. I've seen the situations where every creator in the room hates what a company's doing, but they just gotta do it. And not only do they have to do it, they have to go out and defend it. Guys, let me tell you something. That's one of the worst feelings in the world. To dislike a company decision and then to have to go out and defend it and say, yeah, you know, we think this is the best thing to do. Especially if lying is not in your character, that is so frustrating. That is such a frustrating place to be. You know what I mean? So I'm extraordinarily forgiving of any developer's frustration. Obviously, as a man, I'm only going to allow you to go so far with me, particularly because I'm always polite, I'm always reasonable. I never call a developer out of their name. I never hit them with an all caps frustration tweet and blah, blah, blah. Even though, let's face it, if you play this game, you feel like doing that, right? Like, no doubt. Of course, like anybody who plays this game at some point or another feels like, you know, going on Twitter, typing in all caps, why are you like this, 2K, and posting a clip of something ridiculous happening in their game. The ball bouncing off of your rebounder's face 10 times, and the point guard offensive rebounding 6 times in a row. Like, we all feel those frustrations. I never put those frustrations in a tweet. So there's only so far I'm going to, you know, as a man, allow you to be rude to me. But that having been said, I'm one of the most sympathetic people in the entire community because I've been in that position before. I will probably be in that position again. Technically, I'm in that position right now, right? I work for Marvel. I can't say anything about Star Wars, good or bad, because it's gonna. If I literally write the word Star Wars on my timeline, it's gonna bring legions of people I don't want to talk to. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just gotta sit here and shut up about it. I love Star Wars. I can't say nothing about it, good or bad. I can't express my taste. That's frustrating. Right? So they're the same way with basketball and 2K. I get it. But the bottom line is, even though I get that, that's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? That's not good enough for the community. Oh, I got a text real quick. That's not good enough for the community when the community's accusation is you are intentionally breaking this game mode. You're intentionally breaking this game mode. You're intentionally making this mode less fun so that you can exploit us and make money off of. 2K has to respond to that if they want to have all these other things, like esport and all this other stuff. Because see, here's the thing. If 2K wants to make $1 billion off the community, that's super easy. Barely an inconvenience, right? You have the only legit basketball title on the market. You have the backs of Steph Curry and LeBron James. You've been on top for a long time. You're one of the biggest sports games. You're one of the biggest games ever in the history of games in terms of just the content of the game. You got Park, you got Rec, you got My Career, My League, My GM, My Team, all that stuff, right? So you can make money, no problem. Well, the community could be as toxic as all get out, and you'll still get their money. And that's kind of what's gotten us to the point that we're at. Because 2K is like, you know, they can afford, there's people at 2K who are going to believe that they can afford the toxicity of the community. And they're right. Until they want an esport. See, an esport cannot survive on a thoroughly toxic community. An esport needs a community that actually likes the game and somewhat likes each other, and can talk to the devs without being ridiculous. You know what I mean? And 2K is in league with the NBA, and I fully believe that there's a couple of reasons that the 2K League is a complete and total failure and embarrassment of an esport. Number one is the game is not fun to play or watch in 5v5, like Pro-Am and stuff like that. Like, it's not. Like, nobody plays Pro-Am for fun. They just play it to get better and make the 2K League and stuff like that. It's nobody who's like, oh yeah, this is a joy. This is more fun than playing Call of Duty. It's not. This is more fun than Fortnite. It's not. Right? I don't even like Fortnite. I like Fortnite more than I like Pro-Am. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not fun. So that's no, and it's not fun to watch. But why is it not fun to watch? That's the better question. It's because without a community manager, the only way 2K balances the game is by going to the community, seeing what they're complaining about, and having knee-jerk reactions to it, which results in them taking every fun dribble move out of the game, lowering the value of individual scorers, which is the most entertaining thing about the NBA, is when one person cooks. Yeah, I'm trolling on stream, just running through the bushes. I should probably do something, right? Is there a My Player Nation game to play? I should do this. I should beat up on the Orlando Magic while I talk to you guys. I just hate the fact that I'm in 3-out. I'm in a 3-out active offense. That sucks so bad because your bigs just stay in the paint all day. It's so frustrating to play in. But, you know, that's number one, is they make changes based on the game that make the game more boring, but it also makes them more safe because they're afraid to be embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're afraid to be embarrassed, and with good reason. That's totally viable, that you're afraid to be embarrassed because you don't want to. Look, Street Fighter goes up and the game works just fine. Overwatch goes up, the game works just fine. Rainbow Six Siege tournament goes off without a hitch. Your game goes up if you see, and shout out to him because he's a talented guy, but you see some Steezo type dude doing backspins over and over. That's not an esport that the NBA is going to hang his hat on. You're not going to get Ben Simmons showing up to that being like, oh yeah, this guy really knows how to, play the game. So, they don't want that, and their answer to that is not this nuanced approach to balancing. It's this kind of heavy-handed, just taking fun stuff out of the game until the game's boring. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is because the only people who watch are people who are either in the league or want to be in the league or support people who are in the league, like as individuals. And those people don't have a big fan base because all of 2K's main fan base is in the park. That's where most of their fan base is in the park. And so are park people watching it? No. In fact, they don't even market to park people because the park community can be extraordinarily toxic, which goes back to my other thing. If you want, imagine, imagine, especially like a year ago, everybody who follows Steezo and Swante being in the 2K League Twitch chat, it would just be message deleted all the way up the chat. You know what I'm saying? Like, there would be no part of the chat that could be readable by any, advertiser or sponsor or anything like that. And that's the whole point of the league. Like, they're trying to make money. The esports is huge, gaming is huge, and 2K, specifically the NBA, they want to get into that, but they can't get into it in a toxic community. So 2K, I genuinely don't think that they're aware of how much money it costs them to have a unattended to toxic, like the most popular part of the community is the most toxic part of the community. And the people that are cool, they ignore them. They don't talk to them. They're condescending to them on Twitter and all of that good stuff. And, this is where we are. Oh my God. What offense do I even have? Get out of here, Markel. Oh, I told you I was going to beat up on the Orlando Magic. They suck. So Michael P says, you came to the grips with the fact that this isn't real b-ball, it's a video game. So here's the thing with that. As a NBA game, there's some of the most gorgeous plays and so on and so forth in this game. Like, the freelancers are so good. There's just so many things about this game that are so basketball. Unfortunately, it's not the base part of the game. Positional defense has nothing to do with real basketball. I shouldn't say nothing. It has very little to do with real basketball. In this game, it's better to defend from behind and to body up somebody than it is to actually defend them honestly and close off a section of the court. As Jimmy Butler sells me on my assist. That's okay, Jimmy. That's okay. I think I'm gonna get Jimmy traded. I think I'm gonna do that. I won the championship with the Miami Heat with this character. I think Jimmy's days is numbered. He's a good teammate and everything, but it might be time for him to go. Because Jimmy sell me a little hard in this game. He sells me a little hard. We won despite him, not because of him. But anyway, you know, so, but like the positional defense, the ball handling, like imagine a basketball game where the crossover, I'm going to look at it right now. This is the crossover in this game, the standing crossover. That's the standing crossover. You dribble, and my character's a 97 speed right now, right? Like you can't even move. You have to do the momentum cross to get any movement in this game. That's messed up. And I have to hop dunk in order to get this guy open. And look at the layup that he does it. Like, and that's every time. Like I knew 100% that was going to happen because that's how this game just is, you know. And he makes that layup. That's 11% contested. Like that stuff has nothing to do with real basketball, which is unfortunate because I feel like the complicated parts of basketball, the game is so good. You know, the way the players move in terms of screens and the actions that they run, you can legitimately learn about basketball from that part of the game. But your brain will fall out of your ear if you watch somebody go to the basket and hop step. You know, your brain will fall out of your ear if you say, well, this is how fast the bigs are. You know, if you say this is how fast the small guards are. Like this right here, this should not be my best form of defense to just smash up against Markelle Fultz like that. Like that's not good defense in real life. In real life, he's going to blow by me. Like he requires more help. And the band-aid for 2K to make that work is basically, oh, well, we'll just take 5 out the game so your center is always in the paint defending you. And I dunk on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not... Like, I'm doing it because, yeah, I want to be a 99 overall, but I don't want to play the game like that. I don't want to be forced to play the game like that. I want to play a legit basketball game. You know, and this, again, brings you back to the community manager thing and brings you back to the Giannis thing. I want to play a MyTeam mode where I really have to think about a card. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if y'all feel like this, too. I want to play a MyTeam mode where I go, oh, man, all right. If I put in Bowen... he has the elite defense. But if I put in, say, Jimmy Butler, his defense is good, but it's not as good as Bowen's, but he's more creative. I don't want to play the game where it's just like, oh, well, don't worry. We'll just give Bowen an 86 ball control. I mean, okay, but that's not the point. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Pro 3 dribble works on the AI. Wide open. Come on, Kelly. There we go. Evidence that Pro 3 works on the AI all the time. Pro 3 Hezzy. You later, Wally. So, you know, so that's my main thing with the position lock. And that's my real question for you guys. And not just to answer me like right here, right now, but it's really just in general. Do you feel like Giannis at point guard betrays position locks? Do you feel like that transforms position locks from we're trying to balance the game mode to we just want to hold the reins on when we can decide to overcharge you? Not overcharge you, but you know what I'm saying. Like to make these pack odds just ridiculous and have everybody ripping packs and make some money back from you guys. That's a genuine question because I just really want to feel the pulse of the community on this. This Giannis thing, the only thing that it affects me like directly is I genuinely love covering the game for you guys. I love covering all of the cards, and the game right now is still in a place where if there's a 6-foot Amethyst card, you might have a reason to play that card. He's not going to be the best card, but I might say, hey, here's the silver lining of that card. That gets completely killed if that card has to play against Giannis. Like, there's just no way. Like, you just can't. It's just too far. You know what I mean? Kill him? Kill him. Kill him. So that's the main thing for me is how do you guys feel about this Giannis's effect on position locks? Has position locks transformed from, you know, balancing the game mode to just allowing 2K to do whatever they want whenever they want? Okay, so Michael P has an excellent question. Books, do you think this Giannis without range extender and half quick draw badges changes how you look at him being a PG? It goes back to what I was saying before, where like if this Giannis is from a rating standpoint the equivalent of his Amethyst, then I don't have a problem with it because that's more or less accurate to real life Giannis. Can I make him fall? No. That's more or less the equivalent to real life Giannis when he played point guard, right? When real life Giannis played point guard, he didn't have all of the skills and ratings that he would have as today Giannis playing point guard. So I don't think they're going to give him range extender so much, but it's really just the fact that Giannis is so cheesy, hop stepping to the basket, and he's such a great defender at his size for all positions, no matter what, that I just feel like I feel like putting Giannis at PG, there's no justification for it. Unless you're... I don't feel like... Okay, let me answer this question clearly. I don't feel like they're trying to make the game more fun or more balanced by putting Giannis at point guard. That part doesn't change. Do I feel like he breaks the mode? I'll tell you straight up. I don't know if he breaks the mode until we play the game. You know, like if you guys watch this channel, I'm always an advocate of... Don't have strong feelings about game balance until you play the game for a while. You know what I mean? Because there's certain outliers in this game mode that justify that. Like Walt Frazier can defend cards 5 inches taller than him with the greatest of ease. Like Walt Frazier is a legitimately great defender. And if they gave Walt Frazier range extender, I think that card, even though on paper you wouldn't say that that card changes anything, I think that card does change things on paper. I mean, not on paper. I think he changes things if you actually... And Bam doesn't shoot, even though he has a 69% chance of making that shot. This is why nobody likes my career. Bam's wide open, doesn't take a shot with a 70% chance of making it, forcing me to bump steal and play this game in a stupid way. At least he does a slow dunk animation. That's the silver lining there. So yeah, I mean... For me, it's not necessarily relevant how OP the Giannis card is, as it is the fact that the community is 100% against this Giannis card and has nobody to talk to about it. That's what's relevant for me. The game balancing in and of itself, look, if I'm going to start complaining about the balance of my team, the complaints start way before Giannis. Like, let's be real. You know what I mean? Y'all gonna start this play mad late? Is that what's happening? Here we go, Tyler. Come on, bro. Did y'all see the numbers under his feet? Hop stepping being broken. Oh, Spatial Jones says hop stepping being broken all year was criminal. Even NBA Live had an animation that if you were in front of someone during a hop step, you would shoot a bad shot or lose the ball. None of that happens. I completely and totally agree with you, Spatial Jones. It's incredible to me that when it came to the behind the back, they nerfed it into the ground when they first nerfed it. They did boost it. They did boost it back up a little bit, but they nerfed it into the ground when the two major problems with the behind the back was, well, three. There was three major problems. Number one, tight handles caused a stun. Eventually, that was completely unnecessary. There's no reason to cause a stun on a really fast left to right move. That shouldn't even have been in the game. Cool, no problem with that. Number two, you could spam it over and over again. The stamina hit on that move should have been so severe that after doing it twice, you literally cannot do it a third time. Right? And then number three was the defensive movement. Defensive movement just wasn't fast enough to keep up with the move honestly. If they would have changed those three things, they could have left that move in the game because offensive players with really good wall handles and a lot of speed should have quick left to right movement. Like, why is that a controversial viewpoint? You know what I mean? Point guards are fast. Point guards with great handles are scary. When they start moving left and right, you have to start making serious decisions about how you're going to play them. That's not a bad thing in a basketball game. Like, I don't understand. Like the community gets so frustrated with certain moves that they're just like, take it out the game. And I just don't agree. Come on, Iggy. Oh my God, Iggy took that shot just now. Did y'all see that? That's incredible. He was wide open for a regular three, and he thought he was Reggie Miller for a second. That's all right. We're gonna forgive you for that. Oh, I got a foul for that? All right. So, but the hop step, meanwhile, so here's the thing. I'm not going to say the behind the back takes an extraordinary amount of skill. I mean, it took more skill than the hop step. The hop step is literally just hold turbo and tap square. And worse than that, you don't need an 86 ball control to do the hop step. You don't need a high speed rating to do the hop step. You don't need a high 3-point rating and a green release jumper to capitalize off the hop step. All you need to do is run into the lane like an idiot and tap square. That's it. Every character can do it. Every character that can do it, and every character that can dunk can like dunk very severely off of it. So the fact I'm shocked that the community is like all for the hop step, but complains so much about the behind the back. I'm not saying the behind the back, like I already told you what was wrong with the behind the back and what they needed to do to fix it. So clearly I'm not saying the behind the back was 100% fine. My suspicion is people who can't dribble in 2K hate dribbling. They just hate dribbling in 2K. Like I've heard it from so many people, sim heads, a whole bunch of people who run plays. They just hate dribbling. And I am not a dribble head, but I'm a basketball fan. Dribbling is some people's style. Post up is other people's style. Setting screens is some people's style. Setting picks is other people's style. Like everybody has a different approach to creating offense, and that's a beautiful thing. Dribbling adds dynamism to the game, right? If you come up against somebody who's always running pick and roll, and then you come up against somebody else who's always running that went to the wrong person. You come up to somebody else that's always running off-ball screens, and you come up to somebody else that's always running plays, that's a different gaming experience. That's a dynamic gaming experience. That's cool. You know what I mean? I think that's a good thing. So when you take dribbling out of the game, then everybody's just going to be running screens all day. And the game's going to be all about screen and roll. And maybe post-ups. And I don't think that that's a healthy place for, especially for a basketball game. You know, it would be one of the most exciting things in the world if it was really, really hard to master Kyrie Irving's dribble moves, like all of them, and then you saw somebody online who, again, without looking super cheesy, but just like legit basketball stuff, had Kyrie just mastered. And you're just like, yo, you got to see this dude. He has everything. Like, he can do this combo that's really hard to do, and he does it at the drop of a hat. That'd be sick. So Carson Cruz, shout out to the homie Carson Cruz. Follow him if you're not already. He says, David Bogdansky, I wrote a book last year that and sent to the devs about relative speed, basically what you said. 90 speed on LeBron or Giannis is not the same as the speed on a point guard. The problem with 2K is that it's actually the opposite. Speed is faster on bigs than it is on point guards. The reason I don't get mad about it is, I have to use my timeouts, get some stamina back. The reason I don't get mad about it is because I know that's a technical issue. If you take a 7-footer, and I actually learned this doing card reviews for my team. If you take a 7-footer and you run with them, you will see that in the motion engine has no way to account for the fact that they're so tall. They don't move differently than the point guards. So what happens is they wind up getting pushed and slid forward by the game. No, Carson Cruz, this is the problem. Is like the game doesn't have a motion system regulator for the super tall characters. So the super tall characters move in a completely irregular way. And I don't think that they have the tech currently in the game. Maybe they're working on something, I don't know. But I don't think the game has the tech to make the bigs as slow as they need to be if they have high speed ratings. So the only solution, and this would be a band-aid because it doesn't completely fix the problem, is a very, very severe speed cap on the bigs. The bigs need a severe speed cap, which again brings me back to this issue with position locks. So I didn't get to this part. But the other thing about position locks, fellas, is this is something that was game-wide. This wasn't just my team. The same thing was true of the park in my career, where it was basically if you're over this height, you can't get this speed of dribbling animation. You can't get this speed of jumper animation. You can't get this ball handle rating. But my team just breaks those rules. The whole game is bad. And that's why I say, like, I don't go at a dev about any of this stuff, because imagine you don't even work on my team and, you know, somebody comes along and is just like, yeah, those rules that you made for the rest of the entire game, nah, I don't care. I don't care about that. In my team, you're going to get an 86 ball control even if you're 7'3", because we need to sell that card. Then you just got to deal with that. That's just something you got to take. And so if you're working on balance in the game mode, try and make this 3 right here. Ah, too late. Too late. If you're just working on balance in the game mode and someone breaks balance in their version of the game and somebody's like, hey, why are bigs like this? Your real life answer would be, well, bigs aren't supposed to be like that. You know, they're not supposed to be like that. But you can't say that. Like that would literally get you fired, because you're throwing a quote unquote a teammate under the bus. Man, look at the way my bigs just stand in the paint. It's so irritating. Like they just never move. They're just there the whole time. There's no way to penetrate to the basket. God. It's like an extra difficulty in this mode, this freelance. And he just gets banged on. Measy says, props to calling attention to some stuff in a professional manner. I really appreciate that, man, because I think not using a professional manner I don't want to say allows, because I don't think any developer wakes up in the morning and they're like, you know what, I'm going to go online and piss the community off. Like that's not, I gotta foul. I need to call these timeouts. That's not how they're built. You know what I'm saying? They're just regular human beings that wake up, work hard, and like anybody else, they're gonna get emotional about some things from time to time. But when you approach them with toxicity, that makes it easier for them to ignore you or respond poorly. And my thing for the community is put yourself in a position, or put the devs in a position where it's the easiest thing in the world for them to say, hey, you know what? They're being reasonable. I'm going to go to the higher ups and say, look, the community's on its best behavior right now, and I want to keep it like this. Can we give them a better answer than it's on the radar? Can we do better than that? That's what I want. I want the community to get better than that, and I want it to be easy for the devs to ask for better than that. I can't believe they just made me go backwards around that screen like that. He was about to do something dumb. Alice Campbell says, 2K does it every year. They make the cards so good they get into the realm of ridiculousness, and then 5 of those cards become mode breaking. I mean, yeah, man, I think that's where we are. Lennon Slater, what's up? Are we getting a LeBron tomorrow? Now it looks like we're getting that point guard Giannis, man. The one that no one apparently was asking for. Hezzy. Look at that. Look at how Hezzy broke him. Here we go. Bam. Come on, Bam. Go up. Oh, God, I hate this game so much. Like, you literally can speed food your center wide open. He's just going to hold the ball in the lane for no reason. That's why my career is just so not fun. Like, the players just do not act like themselves at all. No matter what plays you run, you have to cheese it. Like, you just have to. And that's the irony is, like, I think they made all these changes to my career. Why he greened that? They made all these changes to my career in order to make it more challenging, but all they did was they just made everybody a cheeser. There we go. Thank you, Bam. They just made everybody a cheeser. Choices. Glad you got Opal Worthy tonight. Yeah, I think if anybody that cares about MyTeam Unlimited, you basically just like have to play tonight. Like, I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I don't know if it's that drastic that like, oh, if you don't get it tonight, to blah blah blah. We'll see if the card is that unbalanced. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll see. LeBron is still out there. Magic's still out there. So we'll see if this new Giannis, if it's impossible to defend them, or at the very worst, you know, to defend them with a switch. You know, you switch your matchup, put LeBron oversized 2 guard, and then put your oversized 2 guard on their on their Giannis, or put your oversized 2 on the 3 and blah blah blah. Like, you might be able to switch stuff around to make it work. So I'm not in the camp of like this is automatically broken. I'm always in a, no matter how broken something looks on paper, let me see it in game. If he misses both these free throws, thank you. Let me see it in game before I come to conclusions about it. And if it's broken in game and every point guard under 6'8" is completely irrelevant, then it is what it is. Bam. Can I beat him? I can beat him. Let's go. Then it is what it is. Then the mode is much less interesting. And what I will do at that point as a content creator, which is a very strange sentence for me to say, to be honest with you, I'll just switch to a more gameplay oriented direction and start doing more triple threat online. And playing more triple threat online. I'd still review relevant cards, but triple threat online would be my main thing. I mean, I'm not playing unlimited now anyway. Bam, with the old board. Let's go. Jimmy being terrible. What a terrible low IQ shot he just took with a 6-point lead. Yeah, that's my steal. Look at the speed that he got to dribble. Man, I have begged them year in and year out to fix the loose balls. And this is like another thing I'm saying. It's like, do I expect them to fix the loose balls? No, I don't expect them to fix the loose balls. What I hope for though is, well, here's our challenge with the loose balls. Here's what we're struggling with, and here's why year in and year out it's a part of the game where you feel it's really unfair. Here's what we're trying to prevent. And then intelligent members of the community would say, okay, well, here's something I would rather see than what's happening right now. And that's the benefits of a back and forth dialogue, David Bogdanski says that's the only fix. 2-year releases to literally rebuild. Nah, they're not going to do 2-year releases, man. They just make too much money on the game. Nobody is going to switch to a 2-year thing when they're selling up to 10 million copies a year. It's just not going to happen, especially with the microtransactions and the fact that they can reset MyTeam every year. It's just not going to happen. The fact that they can reset people, building up their My Career players, and so many people are so impatient. They dump, $20, $30, $40, $50 worth of VC every time they make a player, which you don't have to do. But some people do it. It's just, listen, again, I work for these big companies, man, and there's a certain thing that not to even ask for, right? Like, that's why, on the one hand, it's like, I don't want to ever sound like I'm not a shill. Like, I'm not in the favor of the shareholders. I'm just realistic about the fact that there's certain things that you're going to get a no to. You know what I'm saying? So if something's going to be a guaranteed no, I'm like, all right, well, what's the next best option? What can we get if we can't get that? Because if somebody's making $1 billion doing something, they're not going to change that part. You know what I mean? So that's why I talk about, just stating your issues. Don't ask for fixes. Like, say, this is my problem with the game. When you talk about fixes, that puts the developer in a situation to test their knowledge about creating the game against your knowledge about creating the game. And for some developers, that's not entirely a bad thing, right? For some developers, they'll go, okay, I see what you're looking for, but here's what is actually possible, and blah, blah, blah. But that's best case scenario. For a developer who's not, because remember, this is just real talk, right? This is like the real talk segment. Not that I haven't been doing real talk, but I'm just being completely real with you guys. Every developer is not a strong social person. You know what I mean? Some of these guys are nerds. Some of these guys and girls are nerds. They're shut-ins. They're people who look at computers all day. So they're not going to be even the ones who played sports and stuff. Every person who plays sports is not good at speaking to people. So when you ask them something, they might be arrogant. They might be stubborn. They might be ignorant. They might be emotional in their response. You know what I'm saying? You can't just roll the dice on the developer personality and say, well, I hope you say an intelligent, mature thing in response. That's not realistic. The developer is at the company because they're very, very good at an extremely specialized thing. That's why they're at the company. They're not at the company because they're a great person. That's why the community managers at the company. The community managers at the company because they know how to talk to people. So that's why I say when you go to a developer, just tell them the issue and the experience you're having, and then they can take that and they can interpret that information properly. If you tell a developer, I want you to do this, this, and that, they're gonna. I'm not saying they're guaranteed. Again, some developers are gonna have more experience dealing with the community and they're going to have an appropriate response. But other developers are going to be like, that's stupid. This is why the community is stupid. Is the developer wrong for having that attitude? Yes, they are. But 2K is wrong for having that developer in a position to answer that question. That's not your job. You know what I mean? No, that's why NBA referees aren't there doing post-game conferences, because they're there to referee the game. They're not. The NBA is like, we'll account for your mistakes. We'll talk to the NBA community about your missteps. And when you screw up, we'll either fine you or have a meeting to improve our ability to put you in a good position. But we're not going to put a microphone in front of you and have you be like, well, I don't care. No matter what, that wasn't a foul. And then meanwhile, that wasn't goaltending. And meanwhile, you could close your eyes and Stevie Wonder knows it was goaltending. You know what I'm saying? Like, the NBA knows not to do that. Unfortunately, 2K, which is a billion-dollar company, doesn't know not to do that. They say, oh, yeah, I don't care what your actual job is. You're also magically equipped to talk to 10 million people about what's wrong with the game and how bad your coworker was at their job. Just think about that for a second. That's what's happening. They're saying, even though your specialty is X, I also think you happen to be qualified for an entire other specialty. And the community and the game is at a point where it's paying for it. Never mind the fact that that allows them to hide behind this curtain of monetization and shareholders, where the shareholders can say, I don't care what you do, get some of this money back. And they can say, oh, I know how to get this money back. Point guard Giannis. Again, not saying that's 100% true, but there's no way for the community to ask if that's true. Michael P. David Bogdansky has a question. Books, have a question for you. Do you think they should only update the game, changing things, not every little thing? Because literally it feels like every time they try to fix something, more problems occur. This is a complicated issue because, number one, the game is so big and on such a short schedule that developers, and this is facts, right? You can look at, developers have told you this on Twitter. So this is me speaking facts. This is not my opinion. The game is not released in a state where it can't be patched. And that's most of gaming, by the way. But especially a game where it's released every year, only a 9-month development cycle, and it's got all these changes that they need to make. Yeah, I'm gonna run through the bushes for y'all. I know y'all like some good entertainment. So they need to patch the game. And the thing is, the game is finished so late in the development cycle, there's no time to test everything. So there's the stuff that they know that needs to be patched, and there's the stuff that they're not going to find out that needs to be patched until 5, 10, 8 million people start playing the game. So in that sense, I don't think it's realistic to say these are the patches that are necessary. I think what needs to happen is 2K needs an entire... So Destiny has this thing that they call... oh my god, what's the name of it? It's something like the live content team or something like that. And it's basically a team entirely dedicated to this game and the changes that this game needs as the year goes on. That's what it's for, right? So 2K needs that. The problem is 2K is such a highly specialized game that they can't have that team actually be the team that does the patches. They need that team to tell the people who do the patches what to do that the community would be most happy with. With such a big community playing so many different game modes, there's gonna be some people in the community that are very, very much not happy with, some patches that the rest of the community is happy with. That's just a reality of the game, something you got to accept. But you can say, well, while some part of the community is unhappy with this and some part of the community is happy with it, we truly believe, with our experience playing the game, researching the game and listening to everybody else play the game, that this made the game better. And that's the compromise that should be acceptable for everybody. That at least 2K truly believe that this made the game better. And honestly, that's my real question with this Giannis card that I would really have for anybody at 2K that's willing to answer it. Do you truly feel that this Giannis card made MyTeam a better mode? Did this make the game more interesting? Did it make it more fun? Did it make it more exciting? Did it make it more balanced? What do you honestly think was going to be the effect of this Giannis card? Dope D13 asks, Books, do you feel Opals ruined the mode? That they should have been stuck with PDs and higher tier cards? No, I don't actually. I think this is one of the things that I blame on the community. So the example I give you is Galaxy Opal Steph Curry versus, say, was Glitch Diamond Ben Simmons, was he a diamond or a pink diamond? All right, let's just say glitched Ben Simmons. Steph's a Galaxy Opal, and Ben Simmons is a, diamond or whatever. Ben Simmons is probably better than that Steph Curry card, right? Yeah, he's a diamond. That diamond's better than that Galaxy Opal. This happens all the time. The only Galaxy Opal that I feel is the best at their position in the current game, like hands down the best, is offensively. What's up, Joey Blaze? Welcome to the chat. Offensively, Kevin Durant is the best small forward at his position, which is probably true all time. So in that sense, I don't have a problem with any KD card being the best offensive small forward at their position. Every other Galaxy Opal, there's a fine argument to be made that there's a better card at their position and that there's a better card at their position that's a lower tier. Even the McGrady, which is fantastic, has a very low strength rating. So there's people who would say, I'd rather this card over the McGrady card because this card doesn't get bullied. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think this, and that's part of the reason I even have this channel, is I don't think that the card tiers are what make the game balanced. I think those card tiers are very easily manipulated by the ratings. So for instance, you could give me, if you could give me a Ruby Ben Simmons that plays the point guard. If he has a 90-something speed, and in fact, I would say this, there's a Ruby Ben Simmons in the collection right now. We're going to go to it real quick while we have this discussion. If that Ruby Ben Simmons could play the point guard position, he would be one of the best point guards in the game, even without the ability to shoot at all. Because you just have to account for him. He would bully other cards because he's just too big, right? So the ratings don't fully take into account the things in this game that make it broken. Not broken, but the things in this game that make it, that make things really strong. So for instance, another one, that Jeff Green card, he's a perfect example. Jeff Green goes on the tier list of best power forwards in the game. He goes on the tier list. He's in the discussion. There's several diamond and pink diamond. In fact, he's the best example because he's not even a hypothetical. Pink diamond and pink diamond cards in the game that Jeff Green is just way better than. You know what I mean? So let's use Jeff Green as an example, right? So I'm gonna go search auctions. We're gonna go position. I believe he's a power forward. Not sure if he's a small forward. And we're gonna start with pink diamonds, right? So who is Jeff Green better than at the power forward position? We'll go through all. So Jeff Green is he's better than this LeBron James. Is this Jeff's position? I got to go all the way to Ruby. There we go. So let's compare him to this LeBron James just from a badge and what's his name standpoint. So he has more Hall of Fame badges and the same amount of gold badges. And of those Hall of Fame badges, one of his is quick first step at Hall of Fame. What's LeBron's quick first step? Is it silver or bronze? Did I skip it? Does he not have quick first step? Hold up. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, right? So if I'm skipping quick first step, then forgive me, but it looks like this LeBron James card does not have quick first step. So this LeBron James card is not as good as Ruby Jeff Green, in my opinion. Ruby Jeff Green is better than this Pink Diamond LeBron James card. And I would actually say he's significantly better. Ruby Jeff Green has a fantastically makeable shot and some of the best overall animations in the game. He can hop, step, dunk you into oblivion. He's a solid size character model. He has a better three-point rating, a better mid-range rating, of 10 points more in driving dunk. This Jeff Green is significantly better than this LeBron James card. And Jeff's a Ruby and LeBron's a Pink Diamond. So I think the card tier is way overrated. Like way, way overrated. Jeff Green's better than Bob Love. I personally prefer to Jeff Green over Aaron Gordon because he has much better animations. I know Aaron Gordon's a better rim runner and a better three-point shooter, but Jeff Green is better at creating off the dribble. So I'm not saying Jeff Green is better than Aaron Gordon. I'm saying my personal playing style would have me play Jeff Green. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think it's the fact that they're releasing opals. I think it's specifically the fact that they homogenize the cards by giving them all the same badges and the same ratings. Everybody's going to get 86 ball control or better. Everybody's going to get Hall of Fame clamps and intimidator. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody's going to get gold or Hall of Fame range extender. Nobody gets silver quick draw. Like why does everybody got to get gold or Hall of Fame quick draw? What about silver quick draw where you can say, okay, this card is basically perfect, but they have silver quick draw. This card is not as good, but his Hall of Fame quick draw allows me to do this. And that's what I'm talking about, like with the balancing the game. It just doesn't feel like the game is balanced for optimal fun, optimal playing styles. SAC Bridges stand for Sacktown? No, it does not. I'm from New York City. SAC stands for Special Agent in Charge. I am a comic book artist, and one of the characters I was going to make in one of my stories was Special Agent in Charge Bridges. That's all the name is. Alice Campbell says, I believe all cards should maintain their real-life weaknesses unless they do something to prove otherwise. What do you think? I 100% agree with you. I think that is, I mean, it just seems like the easiest thing in the world in terms of if you, well, again, going to the Bruce Bowen example, never give him ball handle. Never give him ball handle. You can juice his three-point shooting. Don't juice the range on it. You can juice the effectiveness. You can make him the greatest on-ball defender of all time. He's still going to play an exaggerated version of Bruce Bowen's play style. When you give a card like a Bruce Bowen, or Klay Thompson is really the example we should be going with, you give Klay Thompson 86 ball control, that ain't Klay. Klay has his best games and he never dribbles. Make the people who get the Klay card play like that. And design a game where that's a fun, optimized way to play the game. You know, like I frequently go to dribble, you know, animations and stuff like that because I love that about cards and I do think it gives you other options, but I never feel like that's the only way to play a card. That's why when I talk about the Aaron Gordon, I never say Aaron Gordon sucks. And if you saw my review on that card, I wasn't like he's trash. I said if you're this kind of player, he's great. I'm not that kind of player. I like for everybody on my team to be able to cook, so he has no value for me. That's the way the game should be. You know? Like if you look at all of my cards, except for my centers, with the exception of Bam, everybody has this in common. They all have an 86 ball control. They all have a really good hesitation. They all have Hall of Fame or gold clamps and intimidator. And most of them have range extender. Almost everybody has range extender. The only one who doesn't, that should have it, is Antoine Walker because he's not evo'd yet. So that's my style. So I can, you know, play that general style with the cards. But there should be another person, like say DBG, who's like, I don't need any of that stuff. I don't need good hesitation. I'm just going to run up and down court all day. That's totally fine. You know what I mean? But the game should be facilitating that. He should be rewarded with cards that are better at catch and shoot. He should be rewarded with cards that are better at running the floor. You know, or running the floor and defending. That's the way the game should be designed. If you want it to be an esport, right? If you want it to be something that is exciting to watch and exciting to play, and you get dynamic players of different, you know, styles and skill sets, that's what makes a vibrant community. You know, But if you just want to be like, hey, look, this mode's going to be dead by this time anyway, so let's just get the most packs sold, and the way to get the most packs sold is to throw this badge on this player and allow him to do a thing he shouldn't be able to do, because that would make him overpowered, and of course it would, then yeah, you know, go forth with it. Have fun. So let's see, reading the chat real quick. Michael P says, and this is an excellent point. This is an excellent point. That's what I said. What is Curry's value if everybody can shoot from half court like him and everything else on top of that? That is an excellent, excellent point, which is why when I review cards on this channel or do deep dives into cards, I do it based on the animations. Because 9 times out of 10, the animations don't change, right? So the real value of cards is body type, animation, and you know, height, wingspan, and animations, because you know that everything else is eventually going to be the same. Eventually every card's going to be able to shoot. Eventually every card's going to be able to defend. Eventually every card's going to be fast. So all that's going to be left is what are their animations. So the way it is, you could make that Aaron Gordon card 199. With those dribbling animations, there's certain things you're not going to be able to do with the card, right? Whereas this Gerald Wallace, if you boost any of his ratings just a little bit, he could easily become one of the very, very best cards in the game because his animations are fantastic. And that's why I try to bring that, you know, information to my channel and the community, because I think so many people get fooled by these shiny ratings and stuff like that when it really comes down to body type, animations. Everything else eventually going to get juiced. Carson Cruz says, 100% agree with you. Why don't cards have bronze and silver badges? If they did that, it would set cards apart. I completely agree. That's what I was saying about the quick draw, man. I don't understand why everything, like if you play Park, you know that bronze range extender matters. Like it does. It's better than not having range extender. It's a badge that you're thankful to have if you can get that badge. If that's like the only shooting badge you have left, by all means go and get it. It'll help you out. You know? So I don't understand why the game isn't treated the same way. Why it has to be so extreme? Why it has to be Hall of Fame everything, gold everything, 99 everything? I just don't get that. You know, like this. Let me look at him real quick. Hopefully his price comes down because I still want to review this card. So like this Kevin Durant card, right? So obviously a fantastic card. I still have a problem with the fact that this card isn't big enough. This card should be much bigger. Like his character model is still too small. But for all of the things with this card, why does he... Well, this guy has a shoe on him. Here we go. This card would still be fantastic if he had an 80 driving dunk. Guys, Kevin Durant's not one of the best dunkers of all time. He doesn't need that. Like, you don't need that to have this card do what it already does well. Like an 80 dunk is fine. He doesn't need, like, if he gets an 80 dunk, then as he approaches takeover, he gets contact dunks. That's totally fine for Kevin Durant, right? Does this card need a 90 dunk? 95 ball handle. Kevin Durant, one of the biggest criticisms of Kevin Durant is that he turns the ball over when he dribbles too much. Why does he need a 95 ball handle? He'd be totally fine, especially with his size up animation. He'd be totally fine with an 80 ball handle. And, you know, when you get in a takeover, you can speed boost. Or as you approach takeover, you can speed boost. But other than that, you have to be creative with it. He'd be fine. He has the dribbles to do that. It would just force the community to step up a little bit. 95 speed. Why is Kevin Durant almost as fast as Allen Iverson? Why? Like, why? So then what's the point of an Allen Iverson card? So now he's just short. Now he sucks. Like that's the thing. And I think the thing they underestimate with this mode is how exciting it is when a card plays just like the player, and you can use that play style to capitalize on it and win games, right? Like imagine if Allen Iverson was the only card in the whole game with like a 99 speed. Like maybe one or two more people, but for the most part, AI was the only one with like a 99 speed and a 90 ball handle, right? And a 99 layup. So that's the way you played that card, and you're just snapping ankles and pulling up from the mid-range, taking high-risk shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, That would be exciting to go to a My Team tournament and see this dude is so nasty with Iverson. I didn't think that you could be that good with that card because he's shorter. But Iverson has an advantage in his favor, 99 speed. That's impossible with the current game. Iverson can't cook in a game where Giannis has a 95 speed and Kevin Durant has a 95 speed. You just can't play short cards anymore. So, you know, I don't... And the thing is, again, the point of this isn't to criticize the balancing of my team. That's not my primary concern. My primary concern is the fact that we can't criticize the balancing because there's no one to talk to. Obviously, Robbie's not going to give you a real answer. The 2K20 My Team account isn't going to give you a real answer. So all the community does is they complain to each other over and over and over again, getting more and more and more toxic, and then they take that toxicity and you got to deal with it online. Every community is not this toxic online. Every community is not pausing and using every dirty trick in the book to play the game. That's two things. Number one, the temperature of the community, the temperament, I should say, of the community, and number two, how the game is designed. Both things that are fixable by 2K. See, my career players have at this point started farming VC for me. I could almost pull a pack here. The only thing is, here's the funny thing, right? I have LeBron. Who else out of these cards is even going to be useful in a week? Right? Bad, 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 bad. I have this card. Not super strong. Bad. Okay. Replaceable by a bajillion cards. What's his price going for? What is Glitched Ben Simmons going for? Curious about that. Yo, Glitched Ben Simmons is a buy now? Is that where we are, my team community? Glitched Ben Simmons is a buy now. And he didn't even sell. What is he buying now for? Oh my god. Is that what we're doing now? That's where they've got the community. This dude is a buy now. And Ben Simmons has some of the most gorgeous animations in the game. Wow. That's incredible. What's his lowest price? This card is going to be... See, the funny thing about this card in this community, what's really funny is... I'm curious, can this card guard Giannis? You guys have to help me with that, because I don't have this card. So I genuinely don't know. But can this card guard Giannis? I need 20k MT to buy this card. I would definitely buy this card for 85k. See, I have some investments here, but a lot of these need to be evo'd, unfortunately. I would totally buy that Ben Simmons card. You hate how fast Giannis is? Yeah, that's the thing about Giannis. Like, you know, the funny thing is, Giannis has that broken hop step. That's all he needs. Like, he doesn't need, and he has good ball handles. He doesn't need to also be a 95 speed. Like, why do you have to go insane? I mean, I know why. I don't know why. But the suspicion of the community is that you need to take it that far so that people rip packs. Right? That's the suspicion of the community. I think that's a valid suspicion. I don't know if it's true or not, but, you know, it is what it is. Let me see something. Can I sell somebody to get 20k real quick? Do I have any worthless pink diamonds? Nope. Who are my diamonds? I want to get this Ben Simmons. I ain't gonna lie. He's probably gonna be even cheaper tomorrow. But like I said, my suspicion is that he is going to be... He's going to be a good counter to Giannis. And I am a firm believer in competitive games. It's not always about the card. Sometimes it's about the counter to the card. I don't really have anybody I want to get rid of. Like, I'm going to sell Chambers, but I got to evo him first. What's this Thompson going for? Nothing. This card sucks. He's a collection guy. Let me see if I can get rid of him for a little bit. I don't need Reggie. I need Terrence Davis for my low overall squads. I still prefer him over Reggie. Who was the card I liked more than that? There was somebody I liked more for the point guard position. I'm trying to remember who. I did a review on them. Oh, Caruso. Yeah, Caruso. I like that Caruso card. That Caruso card has animations. You said Ben will be 50K tomorrow? Yeah, man. Giovanni Swishlord, what up, what up? Frederick Brown says 2K only cares about the money, not the actual game. So here's the thing, man. Like, I would love to say to you, you know what? 2K has to stop making every player into a guard, says Justin Lamar. I totally agree. I would love to say to you, hey, man, just because it looks like that doesn't mean it is that. But I can't. I can't. Like, when the community is 100% against something and you do it, and the community has this view that it's just a money grab, and that's what it looks like, the only recourse from that point on is if you have somebody at 2K that's there to account for it. Bad decisions get made all the time at video game companies. Bad balancing gets made all the time. But you know what they all have in common? Virtually every game I've played, they all have somebody that eventually comes out and says, okay, we see the community's not happy about this. Here's what we intended, and here's what we're going to do to make it right. But 2K is just not, it's just not like that, which is unfortunate. I'm real curious to see what's going to happen with this Giannis, because he's definitely going to crash the market. I will most likely get that Ben Simmons at some point, because I honestly just want to see how that card is. I have the regular Ben Simmons, obviously the Diamond Ben Simmons, that can't run point guard. But what's the other Ben Simmons? So there's two Bens that can run point, right? Let me see. Do this before I get out of here, because I do have to get back to work. You says possible spotlight Evo Giannis. Somebody, I think it was Shake and Bake, not sure. Wow, this other point guard Ben Simmons is dirt cheap. He is dirt cheap. 37K. Wow. Obviously, he can't make the three, but his animations and defense are outrageous. Rebounding is great, 92 speed. My real curiosity is, can he guard Giannis? So he doesn't have Hall of Fame clamps. He has gold clamps and gold intimidator. That might be enough. He has a high lateral quickness, tall character model. That might be enough. Oh, Wally Warriors asks, Brian, what happened to Brian? Books, what happened to Brian Unique Musique? Is he no longer the hardest working man in sports? Actually, if you go over to Musique's main channel, Musique has just started a whole bunch of channels covering every genre of game separately. And what he's going to do is he's going to have a seasonal output where he covers 2K basically during 2K season when content is hot. He covers baseball when the show comes out and blah blah blah, but he has a separate channel for all of them so that he can satisfy his creative needs of bouncing back and forth. Musique will be back on this channel to have discussions at some point. We have discussed that. He's always down to come on here and talk about stuff, so we will have a show eventually, but we will not be returning to regular Thursday programming at any point in the nearest of futures that I can tell. But we're still very close friends. He took an overall creative hiatus. It wasn't just his channel. And honestly, if I didn't take over the channel, it would have probably just been filed off to the side. And really, that's all owed to you guys, because I just started doing my team content because I found it interesting and fun, and you guys supported it so much that I'm basically a part-time content provider now, and that makes me really happy. It makes me really happy that you guys have got to the channel to the point where it can be monetized, and you know, it can pay for some packs if I want it to. And you guys have given me a voice, which also I try to give you guys a voice in return to increase the reasonable conversation around 2K. I really enjoy it, so I can't thank you guys enough for that. And I think it was kind of a, you know, a blessing in disguise, because if we was just doing a show every week, I would have never started my own, you know, gaming related channel. I am going to be doing art stuff on my own channel, art tutorials and all that other stuff. But in terms of gaming related stuff, I never imagined that, you know, I would get 1,000 people who are like, yeah, man, I want to see you talk about my team. But I'll take it. That's thrilling to me, and I'm happy to do it. So, as always, I cannot thank you guys enough for all of the support that you have shown. And that's going to be it for my discussion here, my rant video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little format of us just kind of being in here, talking, having a real chat. Like I said, I'm going to be doing more of this. Maybe once a week we'll get in here, talk about the state of my team, talk about 2K, talk about real life NBA as well. You know, that's something I also really look forward to, is talking about real life basketball and going back to that, because that's one thing I really miss not having the show with Brian, is we never talk real ball anymore. So I can just throw on some gameplay in the back, do TT. The only thing is I don't want to do triple threat. I don't know if I can play triple threat online while talking to you guys, because I always want to win, and I'm going to go quiet at some point. Maybe if I get so good at the mode that I don't have to concentrate at all. But if I'm losing games because I'm talking to the chat, I'm going to be salty at them, at you, at me, at everybody. So I don't know about triple threat online, but I can, you know, work on my career characters or Evo cards or what have you, finish up domination in that kind of thing. Wally Warrior says run through the bushes in the background. You know you liked it, Wally. You know you liked it. That's your favorite content. That's why you talk about it so much. I'm going to go back out there before I end. It's going to be a 2-hour stream of just me walking through the bushes. Michael P says, FYI, that glitched Ben is already down to 88k on Xbox. Yeah, I'm definitely going to pick up one of those cheap glitched Ben Simmons cards, because I just want to see how good the card is in my own hands. I'm going to look at all of the dribbles, see what it looks like when you're not just turboing to the basket with him, which is what most people do. So I'm still interested in that card. I still think he's a very good card. I'm still super interested in that card. So I'll definitely be picking him up, probably with the MT that I have. And I'll let you guys, in fact, before we get out of here, tell me either in chat or in the comments to this video. I'll ask you tomorrow again, do you guys want me to open packs tomorrow? If you guys want me to open packs, I will open packs. If y'all find that entertaining, I will do it. I will buy VC. I will open packs. I will admit there's part of me that's like, I really don't want to reward bad behavior by 2K, but I care more about you guys enjoying the content than I care about personally punishing 2K for, you know, whatever they're doing. And I might be doing it Saturday, not tomorrow. Because I do have a lot of work to do. I'll do it tomorrow if I have to wait on something from work. But if I'm still grinding on work, I'll do it on Saturday. But I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Y'all don't like me having money, man. Y'all don't like my money. I don't like that. But we're going to do it. All right, so we got 1 no and 1,400 yeses. 2K about the tank books pack odds. About calling them out. But did I really call them out, Wally? What did I say? I said we need to have a conversation. I didn't say anybody's bad. I didn't say anybody's evil. I didn't even call them greedy. I said we need to talk about this. You guys put forth position locks, and you have unlocked many a position since that time. And now you're about to take a guy who was already the best card in the game, by many people's estimations, no worse than top 5 by anyone's estimation, and you're about to put him at point guard at 6'11", pushing many a point guard into obsolescence. Can we talk about it? That's what I'm saying. Am I saying it's bad or wrong or whatever? I'm saying I don't know if it's bad or wrong or whatever, because I can't get an answer out of you about it. I can't say, hey, what's the thinking behind this decision? Do you think this is best for the game? I can't say that. You know, I could just talk to you guys, and that's the problem with the community. That's what I'm really here saying. You know, listen, when it comes to the content of the game, what I tell you guys before, they gave Bill Russell a 93 3-pointer. I'm done with conversations about, you know, balance at that point in terms of how I feel about it. I would have stopped this a long time ago. You know, there wouldn't be no LeBron. Well, no, LeBron deserves range extender. Let me see. There wouldn't be no Derrick Rose with clamps. Are you kidding me? Derrick Rose with clamps? Go on, son. Come on, come on now. So, you know, I would have pulled the emergency brake on the train a long time ago. So my main thing is, number one, you gave Bill Russell a 93 3-pointer, and number two, we chose to play 2K. So we asked for a lot of this. So my thing is, no matter what decisions you make in the game, we should always be able to have a conversation about it. And I don't think that the 2K community is in a state where they can have a conversation about anything. And as much as 2K doesn't like toxicity, I feel like they invite toxicity by their current method of the way they deal with the community, which is basically, as we get to the lead up of the game coming out, first there's some images and ghetto footage, and then they invite select members of the community to, you know, their sites to test the game, which I don't have a problem with at all whatsoever. Then the game comes out, the developers are online for 2 weeks straight, you know, raising the publicity of the game. They trot Ronnie out. He says something wrong because he's not really a developer or a community manager. He's just, by his own words, the face of 2K. And as the face of 2K, there's a lot of information that he's not aware of when the game is released, that he just does the best that he can, I assume. And then when everybody buys the game, they go radio silent for a long time. And then when they want us to buy something, they show up again. When they want us to talk about 2K League, they show up again. And I think that behavior fosters toxicity. I'm not saying toxicity is all 2K's fault. As I said before, I just think they play a role. And I would like them to stop playing that role by having a conversation with their vibrant, you know, various multifaceted community that purchases and spends collectively billions of hours on this game. That's what I want. But alright, y'all. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Yo, we were 40 some odd strong in this one, almost 50 people rocking with us today. I really appreciate it. Couldn't appreciate you guys more. Let's keep elevating the conversation. And listen, the last thing I say is, if at any point the game is not fun for you, don't let this game make you angry and toxic. Take a break, walk away, or play the game in a way that is fun for you. Get some sliders, play My League, do whatever you got to do. But don't let their decisions make you worse. Alright? You guys have a great night. I will see y'all tomorrow and throughout the weekend. Peace.